Hello everybody, welcome to episode number 1. I want to let a couple of people get in here. We're going to start off the show. And you may be wondering what this is. This is the ASD charity build. This is episode number 1, so welcome. I want to start off by thanking everybody at ASD, especially Cowrc, for trusting us to do this. No, this is not Monday Night Mashup. I am Craig from Sizematters RC, and yes, I am on Cowrc's Instagram. We are going live and we are going to start this build. So, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, Cowrc, Sizematters RC, and ASD Crawlers got together, and we are building a truck. And the truck is this Element Night Runner right behind me that we're going to get to in a second. And on Cowrc's website, you can go to their website. On the top left corner, if you're on a mobile device, there's going to be 3 lines. Click on that, go down to miscellaneous, and there's going to be the charity build donation page. There you can get in this truck for as little as $1. So you donate $1, that gives you 1 chance to win this truck. We're going to pick 1 donator to get this truck, as well as all the upgrades and the Cowrc goodies. All the proceeds from those donations are going to ASD Crawlers. A little bit about ASD Crawlers. Great group of guys who have great drive and a reason for doing what they do. Autism hits them each in a unique way. They have autism in their family, and it means something to them. And they work with education, awareness, furthering education for those with autism, and training first responders. So all this donation money is going to those causes. So not only are you helping out a great cause, you might just walk away with this thing. So here's the plan. We're going to unbox this truck. As I start the build process, I'm going to talk about cow products that I'm using in each stage of the process, how to use them properly, and it's going to be probably 4 to 5 episodes, this being the first, and about the end of December, right around holiday time, is when this truck is going to be given away. So what I want to do is unbox this truck. I haven't even cut the tape on it yet. It is a brand new Element Night Runner. We're gonna start pre-maintenance. It's an RTR, right? We all think ready to run RTR. That's not always the case. Every time I get an RTR, I like to rip it apart and do all my pre-maintenance things. I like to oil the bearings. I like to go through the transmission, the diffs. I like to make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. Links are the correct direction. Screws are tight. Everything's where it needs to be. Because people make mistakes. And you don't want to get a truck out on the trail and realize, I should have went through this truck. Like, it's broken or something's loose. I lost something on the trail. And this could have been prevented if I just took it out of the box, put it on the bench, and did some things. So that's what we're going to do the first episode, is like a pre-run, pre-first run kind of maintenance. The next episode, we're going to be doing some upgrades. After that, we're going to run it one time. We're going to get it a little dirty. And then we're going to do a post-run maintenance, a cleaning, and we're going to use all Cowrc products. Then after that, we should be on our last show, and we'll be giving it away. So super, super cool. I'm very excited. First and foremost, what are we working on, right? So when I'm working on a truck, always underneath the truck, I have a Cowrc mat. Whether it's a work mat, a flat mat, a hybrid setup, or a mouse pad mat, which I have over here. I'll get to that in a second. It's under a bunch of stuff right now. Or these really, really cool Carbon Series mats. For this build, I'm gonna be working on top of the Carbon Series mat. for 2 reasons. First reason, I still get that awesome magnetic, but when I'm working with greases, when I'm working with the silicone, Loctite, things that I don't want to get on my magnetic surface, I just take this off and I have this underneath. And it's that rubber material that is very, very forgiving, right? It's not going to stain like the white wood. Word to the wise, if you have a carbon series mat, it loves Mousse Slick, the silicone. It eats it up, it makes it shine and look really good. It makes that carbon detail on all the sides pop and really, really makes it look good. So without further ado, we are going to open this truck, unbox it, and start going through the first things that I like to do. All right, and just give me 1 second. Let me get all the stuff out here. It's time to cut the tape. Ooh, look what we got. Love this thing. I do have one of these personally. Mine is in a whole bunch of pieces right now, but great truck. I did run it stock for a little bit. When I say a little bit, I think it went out twice. So what's really cool about these elements, if you didn't know, is inside the box, there is a scale garage. So you can open this box up and tape it. So it is a scale garage inside. So if you take this box apart and take the time to tape it up, you will have a scale garage. So super cool option that comes with the element. All right. So we have our roof rack. Let's see here. All right. Get this all apart. So I was gonna open this prior to the show, but you know what? I said, I'm gonna do an unboxing live, right? Why not? We'll just take the truck out of the box live and make it like I just woke up on Christmas morning and this was under the tree. And this is gonna be going off about Christmas. So this could be somebody's really cool Christmas present. All right, let's cut these zip ties off the axle. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Wednesday. It's beautiful here. I actually had a really nice day. Spent all day in the garage cleaning and organizing and getting ready for this show because this is a super, super important show to me. I love that it is for a cause and for a reason. And it's not just me talking to the camera for no reason like I do every Monday night. All right. So we got the truck out. We got the whole box of goodies here. So in the element, you get a whole bag of goodies. I'm not gonna open this right now because there's nothing I'm gonna need in here right now. Because there's overdrive gears for the transmission. This is not getting the stock transmission. So when we get to it in a future episode, it's probably gonna be episode number 2 or number 3, we have a Team Garage Hack transmission that is going in this. If you haven't seen our sneak peeks or our videos, because there have been a couple, this is the transmission that's going in this bad boy. Very, very, very nice. So that'll be going in a future episode, and the truck is coming with that transmission. It's also going to be getting True wheels, RoboSlug inserts. It's going to come with the whole slew of Cowrc products. It's coming with a carry-all sling pack. Huge, huge, huge prize pack. It's going to be like over $1,000 worth of stuff. All right. So let's start by taking off the body because we're not doing anything to the body. The body is staying as is for now. We might add the accessories to it before it's given away. But for now, we're just gonna take the body off, get rid of these zip ties. All right. I love this body. This is one of my favorite bodies ever. Knights Customs makes a really, really nice upgrade set for it that you can download or buy. If you have a 3D printer, you can buy the files. the headlights are stickers. If you peel these stickers off, it's clear behind. So you can put headlight buckets in it. Super, super easy. So there's that. Now, what are we getting to here? So the first thing I like to do is I do a little once over on the truck. I make sure all the links are where they need to be, where the link ends are. If they're nut and bolted, which on these trucks, there's, especially the upper links, they all have nuts on them. I want to make sure that they're all tight and everything's where it needs to be. Make sure everything lines up. And then I start looking at electronics, right? So I know for a fact these electronics are already done. However, depending on what truck you have, you might want to consider conformal coating them, right? You want waterproof electronics. You want your ESC and your receiver to be waterproof, especially if you're going to be running in the wet or into mud, water. If you're going to beat on this thing, you're going to get it wet. You want to conformal coat it. So Cowrc makes two sizes of conformal coating. You have the normal size and then the big old boy, right? And you're just going to take this conformal coating and you're going to put it on your receiver and your ESC. However, I have another element, and these are already done from the factory. They are pretty much glued in here with conformal coating, so they are already waterproofed. Same thing with the ESC. This ESC, you're not going to be able to see it on camera, but it is very, very coated. So I'm not going to conformal coat these electronics because there's nothing to conformal coat. They're already covered. But depending on what rig you have and what you're running, you may want to take, especially your receiver, take it out of the case, take the case apart, take the board out. You're going to apply a generous amount of conformal coating to one side, let it dry, flip it over, apply another coat to the other side. You should be able to get away with one coat. You might need two. And then your receiver is waterproof. So huge tip there. Great product from Cowrc. So what's the next thing I do? My electronics are good. Well, I want to open up the diff and the transmission to make sure everything is coated. So what I like to do first is take these wheels off, right? So we're going to take the wheels off, and super handy. So these mats are magnetic, right? They have pockets on the side, right? Parts trays, whatever. As I take the truck apart, I love these dot boxes from Cowrc, especially if I have a prolonged project that I'm going to have apart on the bench for a little while. I like to keep myself organized. So as I take the truck apart, I will take these bins and I will put my parts for that project in those bins, and I will put them back in the dot box. So I know, one, what rig they go to, and two, that they're all together. And if I start another project, I'm famous for that. If I start another project, all this project is together still. So let's get this done. If you just joined and you haven't been watching, this is episode number 1 of the ASD charity build, and it's a great cause. Go to Cowrc's website, find the charity build under miscellaneous in the menu, donate $1, $20, $100, and the more you donate, the more chances you have at getting this truck. And all your money is going to a great, great cause. So get in on it if you're not in on it yet. So the first thing I'm gonna do is, and some of this I'm gonna do on camera and some of it I'm gonna do off camera, because some of it can be pretty dry and boring and nobody wants to sit and just watch me wrench on a truck, right? You guys just kind of want to hear me talk about products a little bit, not too much, and you want to know when the truck's going to be donated and you want to see the cool stuff. So we're going to get to the cool stuff as fast as possible, right? Make short episodes that are informative, but not boring, right? Because nobody likes boring. So we're taking I'm just taking the rear axle out. It's easier for me. I hate trying to get to all the screws and everything for the diff covers. It's just easier for me to take it apart. Whoop. There goes the manual. Don't need that, right? All right. So we got the rear axle out. So this is just easier for me personally. I like taking it apart all the way. Now, with this truck being stock, there aren't many metal to metal connections on this truck. So I'm not gonna have to worry too much about thread locker, right? However, if you're upgrading these rear axles to aluminum or brass parts, brass diff covers, anything like that, any metal to metal connection, whether it's steel to brass, aluminum to aluminum, whatever it may be, you're gonna wanna Loctite that a little bit. There are different types of Loctite though, all right? And I'm gonna show you those in a second. I have 2 of them, and they're the 2 that I use the most. With this truck right now, we're not gonna be using too much Loctite. As we progress in this build, we are gonna be using more and more Loctite because we're gonna be doing a lot more metal parts. We're gonna be doing Trio wheels. We're gonna be doing the Team Garage Hack transmission, right? I know somebody asked before, what transmission is it? It is. It's the SSF6. This is a very nice, very expensive transmission. Huge shout out to Team Garage Hack for getting us set up with that transmission. I'm super jealous of whoever wins this. It's a really nice transmission. Everything from Team Garage Hack is always top notch. And fun fact, and I'm gonna go over this when we go through the transmission because I'm gonna open it to show you. All Team Garage Hack transmissions come loaded with udder butter, which is what I'm gonna be putting in this rear diff, okay? So, stock, I can see already, this rear diff is greased. Not great, but it is greased. I will give Element a lot of credit. There is grease on that rear diff. However, I want to put udder butter in there, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean off this diff. I'm just going to take a shop rag. Always have shop rags. I have a plethora of shop rags and microfibers always laying around the shop. I'm just going to wipe off the heavy stuff with a rag, and then I'm going to lay my rag down on the table. Here, let's see. Let's move this truck because we don't need that right now. Don't need that right now. And then we're going to reach over here and we are going to grab Moo Clean. Now, this is an electrical cleaner, but it's also a degreaser, right? If you're familiar with Moo Clean parts and chassis wash, a lot of people will grab for that to clean this off. That is not a degreaser. And the reason why it's not a degreaser is because if you just greased your whole truck, you greased the CVDs, bearings, and all that, and then you soaked it in parts and chassis wash, and you just removed all that grease, kind of doesn't make sense, right? So that is not a degreaser. This is. So I'm gonna spray it down, right? Give it a good little healthy spray. And I'm just gonna take my same rag, I'm gonna wipe it down, right? Because I don't wanna mix greases. I don't know what this grease is. Obviously it's made for RCs, but I trust udder butter a lot. This stuff is amazing. It is made for RCs. It is formulated for RCs. And it's like Frank's Red Hot. You just put it on everything, right? So now we're at a point now where part of me is like, we'll just end it there with this part. But I'm gonna let this sit overnight. We're gonna put it back together for now. But I wanna take all the bearings out of this truck, right? Because we have these bearings that we just took out of the rear diff, right? They're sealed bearings, but I want to spray them with the ultra thin PTFE, right? This is gonna creep into those bearings. It is gonna coat them in oil, and this has micron sized Teflon in it, right? So that if you let this cure, and depending on your location, your environment, depends on how long this takes to dry, right? So it could be from 6 to 24 hours. So I would let these sit and really, really soak this up and allow this to cure. There's adhesives in this, right? So it's really gonna stick to everything it needs to stick to and keep these bearings really lubricated. So we would let this sit, which is why I said, I'm gonna put it back together for the sake of the show. However, if I was building this truck for me, which I'm gonna take it back apart tonight and let them sit and do it properly. But for the sake of the show and the sake of time, we're just gonna throw it back together and make it look good for the show and as if we were doing it fluidly, right? So what we're gonna do is we are going to put these bearings back on. So if you were coming back out to your garage tomorrow, you take your bearings that you just coated, and mind you, I do all this on top of a microfiber or a shop towel. I don't like getting this stuff all over my mats. And you're gonna put it back in, right? So you throw it back in there, make sure it spins freely, and then we are going to grab, where is it? It's here somewhere. We are going to grab a couple things here. I have stuff all over the place. Don't mind me. We have... Alright, so Utter Butter is going to come in 2 sizes. 3 really, but I have 2 with me. They have 2 pounds. You can get 2 pounds of Utter Butter. That's a lot of Utter Butter. Too much. You should clean them with the move clean first and get rid of any contaminants. Yes, I don't know if you just joined. Yes, we're cleaning all the bearings with that, as well as cleaning the actual diff with it. And we're getting rid of all contaminants and greases and all that nasty stuff. And we're gonna put our PTFE on it, and then we're gonna put it back together. So 2 pounds, and then you have this bad mamma jamma, right? That's nice, right? And then you have the syringe, right? So 3 different sizes of the same wonderful stuff. I like the syringe because I like that direct little application, and you don't want to go too much on here. I see people load their diffs up. A little goes a long way. You don't need to pack these. You're not packing them, right? So I'm gonna spin it a little bit. We're just gonna spin it, and just a nice, nice light coat, right? Really, really nice. And then we're just gonna start throwing everything back together. So same thing with these bearings, right? The little ones on the axles. We're gonna clean them, wipe them off, let that dry for a second, and then we are going to put the PTFE on them, let that dry, and like I said, you would want that to dry for 6 to 24 hours, and really let it adhere, deep creep into those bearings, cover those bearings really well. But for the sake of the show, we're just gonna spray them and put them back in, and then after the show, I'm gonna take it apart, because some of this build is gonna be done off camera just because nobody wants me to be live for 3 hours while I do all this stuff, right? Everybody kind of wants everything instant now. So we're gonna throw that back in. It's also not a bad idea to give the actual axle shafts a little light coating. Usually if I'm gonna give them a little light coating of anything, I am going to use the ultralight grease coating, which is actually a super, super thin formula of udder butter. So pretty much the same thing, right? So all I do is, we'll take this back out of here for now. I'm gonna take this and just give it a quick shot, wipe it down, and then throw it back in, right? Water gets in there, dirt gets in there, and you just want it to be coated and protected, right? I hope my rigs don't see this video. Yeah, I used to be like that, but recently I've been really good to my rigs, and they all kind of are maintained. There's a couple that just constantly get run that, well, they don't get the love they probably deserve, but it's okay. They're used to it. All right, so if you were using a, let's say, metal axle housing, right? Something like an aluminum axle housing. As we were throwing these back in, the two that I like to use are the purple, which is a lighter hold, and the blue IC lock. These are thread lockers, right? The blue is going to be a harder hold, and the purple is a softer hold. Now, when I say blue is a harder hold, it's not crazy. You're not going to need a blowtorch to get it off. If you add way too much, you might seize it in there. If you use the right amount, it's just going to be a little bit more force than if you were just to tighten it by hand. It's not crazy. What I suggest is parts that you're going to be taking on and off more often that aren't under a crazy amount of stress or vibration. So diff covers, right? You don't want your diff covers coming loose because you don't want to mess up a seal that you have to let mud or dirt in there. You want it to be nice and tight, but you want to get in there to maintain it, and you don't want to struggle with it or strip it out or anything like that. I put the purple on there. Same thing with my wheels. Things that you might be taking off regularly that don't need a crazy hard hold. Scale hardware. This for 24 scale is amazing, especially if you're doing metal to metal connections. Plastic to metal, you really need this. Metal to metal, yes. For things that you aren't going to be taking apart too much, so those end screws that hold the bearing and the axle in, I'll usually use blue on there, just a little bit. A little bit goes a long way. You don't need to load the screw with IC lock, because then you're just going to be fighting it to get it off, and you're going to have issues. It's just a little bit. So that was really easy, right? So how hard is this? We just took the rear axle out. It's been a half hour of me spieling and talking, and I already took the rear axle out, took the grease off of it, put udder butter on it, greased the bearings, and put it all back together. Now, granted, if you were to grease the bearings at home and you were to do this in real time, these bearings should be sitting for 6 to 24 hours depending on your climate. So it is going to have to sit overnight, but it doesn't take long. The whole process in itself does not take long. It's just the waiting for stuff to dry that takes a little bit longer. But totally worth it to do this to an RTR, to know that almost everything was touched by you, and you know it was done yourself, and it was done with quality products, right? That are gonna hold up, that are made for RC. totally worth it. You know your rig's gonna last and it's gonna be dependable, right? That's not to say nothing's gonna break if it has Cowrc stuff on it, right? Just because you use Cowrc products doesn't mean it's not gonna break. It's just a peace of mind that you did preventative maintenance to give this truck the best shot at lasting as long as it possibly can. Things are still going to break, trust me. Depending on your driving style, what you're going through and what you're doing to your truck, I hate to call it user error, but we all have user error. We break things in this community. And it happens, right? But we like to give our rigs the best chance possible. Now, once I get this together, another product that I love to use, especially when I have things out and apart like this, is the mousse slick. It's the silicone. That's another product that I'm gonna let sit and adhere and dry, right? But if you can see, I'm gonna wipe a little bit of it off. I have some of that PTFE on there, right? Because I got a little zealous and I got a little overspray on my axle housing. It happens. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my degreaser, I'm gonna spray it, clean that off real quick, right? Take my rag, wipe it down, make sure it's nice, clean surface. And then I'm gonna take my mousse slick, right? And I'm just gonna do this in the air, away from everything, because I don't wanna make everything slippery. 6 to 12 inches away, I'm just gonna give it a nice light coating, and then I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna set this aside and leave it. Now it's sprayed and coated with silicone. I'm gonna do this to almost every part on this truck except for electronics. It is not electronic safe. But now it has a silicone coating that is going to make this truck way easier to wash in the future. Like, way easier. It's actually fantastic how easy it is. Now, because the rest of this truck is not going back together right now, all these parts are going to be going into my dot box and set aside because I don't want to lose anything. Okay, look at that. Dot box, right? And I just take it, I throw it in my dot box and put it away. So pretty much the same process I'm gonna do for the front axle, which this has an IFS, so this comes apart a little bit different, but it is the same process. There's still a diff gear in there. I'm still gonna do the same exact thing. And then I'm gonna do the same thing for the transmission. I'm gonna take the transmission apart, check to make sure it's greased from the factory. And if you have udder butter, put udder butter in it, right? Clean off those gears, put udder butter in it. I'm not using this transmission, so this transmission I'm not even gonna bother opening or going through because I'm putting the Team Garage Hack in this thing. But I will do off camera later, before the next episode, I am gonna do udder butter in the front diff, right? So tonight we went over a whole bunch of products. We're working on top of the Cowrc magnetic mat. We're doing the carbon series mat tonight. We went over the oil with PTFE, the ultra thin oil, the ultra light grease coating, the udder butter. We went over the IC lock. We went over the mousse slick. We went over the mou clean. Just look at conformal coating. We went over conformal coating, right? All that was in one episode in the first couple little things that we did to this truck, right? So just imagine the whole Cowrc lineup, how much you can actually do to this truck to, one, do preventative maintenance, post-maintenance, and just general maintenance. Not only that, I'm sure you could think of a lot of uses around the house for these products, right? Got like a squeaky door? Boom! I use Cowrc products for everything. Quite literally, everything. real quick, I do want to take a moment just to go over what we're doing again. If anybody missed it, if you're watching in the future, because this is going to be posted up, I'm Craig from Sizematters RC. I'm a team driver for Cowrc, and we're working with ASD Crawlers. This is a build that we're doing for ASD Crawlers. This is episode number 1, and on Cowrc's website there is a donation page, and all proceeds are going to ASD Crawlers to help raise awareness, education, help train first responders, all for autism, right? Super, super, super important. And one of the donators, one of you, anybody that donates, boom, this is gonna be your truck. When it's all done, when it's upgraded, I mean, you're getting that full line of Cowrc products. You're getting, let's see, hold on. We're gonna show off some of the goodies. Pro-line tires, right? Trail wheels are going on it. You're getting RoboSlug inserts between the wheels and those tires, which are just beautiful, right? Oh, and you're getting a carry-all sling pack in the Autism Awareness colors. So go donate. You can get a ticket for $1. $1 gets you in this. You gotta be in it to win it. And you know what? I'm not eligible, but I wish I was, because this is gonna be a really cool truck when it's done. And it's gonna be a reliable truck. Man. Oh, this thing's pretty cool. Like this? Everybody like that? That's really cool. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I hope everybody is interested in learning about Cowrc and how we can use these products on different trucks. She uses hide wipes around the house. I am gonna do the hide wipes on another episode, but we're gonna be bringing out every Cow product that I can get my hands on. I think I have most here, but these hide wipes, yeah, these are good for everything. My kids love them. I love them. We're gonna be using that on a couple things, especially after the post run, when this truck is dirty and nasty and needs to be cleaned. I'm sure my hands are gonna be nasty and dirty and need to be cleaned, and I'm going to the hide wipes to clean myself off. What's up, Johnny Dubs? I appreciate everybody joining tonight. We're gonna let that axle dry. I'm actually gonna take it back apart real quick. I'm gonna take the bearings out and do them all, and just let them sit overnight. So that way I can come back out tomorrow, put it back together. And the next episode, that will be back in the truck. Everything will be buttered, and we're gonna work on some wheels and the transmission going in the truck. And that's gonna be a lot of fun, because that transmission looks awesome, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. I've actually never run that transmission, so the first time we run this truck will be the first time I've ever ran that transmission. But let's see. Trying to look at this truck from front to back. What else needs to be done to this truck tonight? And I don't think there's anything. Once we do get everything buttered and in, I am gonna go over the chassis and do a light coating of the Moose Slick. And that light coating is gonna protect everything, except for my electronics. You do not want to spray your electronics, so be very careful if you're spraying this truck. Do not get it on your electronics. I like to do the axles. I love to coat the wheels, not so much my tires. There's a little caveat to this. Moose Slick on rubber looks really good. It'll make your tires look really shiny, really, really clean, right? I love to put it on the wheels, no mud sticks to it. I love the way the tire wash, which we'll get to that once this truck's dirty. I love the way the tire wash makes the tires look naturally clean, if that makes sense, like a brand new tire. And it has like a nice sticky compound to it, like a new tire would. So for show purposes, I spray mousse slick on it and have it nice and shiny for like a nice scale show and shine kind of look. But for performance purposes, I do not put mousse slick on them, and I will wash them with the tire wash, get them good and sticky and ready to go. So my wheels though, always get mousse slick, because I just have to come through with the parts and chassis wash and hose it off, and boom, they're clean, because I had that silicone protection between me and the mud, right? Because we might bring this to up in Massachusetts to somebody we know, Mr. Bulldog RC. He's got a farm that has some trails. They're muddy. And the truck we just brought up there last weekend at Sizematters, it got muddy, and all these Cowrc products came in, just huge help. My Gladiator was just, it looked like the creature from the Black Lagoon. And brought it home, gave it a good hose down, and with some parts and chassis wash, and once it was done and dry, put some silicone back on it, she's ready for another run. And it was a very easy cleaning process, because I did that pre-maintenance. Everything we're doing now, I do to my rigs. Almost every run, every other run. Usually every other run, except for the udder butter. They're crawlers. I don't need to go through the grease all the time. That's a every couple months kind of thing for me. And it's actually surprising. You open up these diff covers after a couple months, and they actually look pretty good. And the udder butter looks great. It depends on, honestly, you. If you don't tighten your diff cover and a bunch of water and just nasty stuff gets in there, it might look a little bit discolored. But if you have the udder butter in there, it'll be protected. I think actually for the next episode, what I might do is take a diff apart, probably in my Gladiator, that has been run hard and through some nasty stuff. And I'll show you what the inside of that diff looks like after running the udder butter in there for a couple months in some nasty soupy stuff, just to show you what it looks like. With that though, I think this episode is over. We went through all the products. I show you what I use the dot boxes for. We went through all the products for pre-maintenance. Next time we come in, we're gonna be doing upgrades, then we're gonna run it, then we're gonna clean it, and then we're gonna give it away. So go to cowrc.com, support ASD Crawlers. These guys rock, they're awesome. They are literally rock stars, super inspirational. I take my hat off to them, so thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Heath, for trusting me with this, because I'm used to having somebody to talk to or somebody on the other side of the screen, and this is weird, right? It's weird to see me here, nobody else, on Cowrc. This is all new. It's crazy. So stay tuned. The next episode will be announced in the next week, and we will continue this build, and we will continue raising awareness for ASD, and then we're going to give this thing away, and hopefully whoever gets it just goes over the truck themselves and can see all the beautiful artwork of the udder butter and the diff and the mousse slick on the axles, and they're just like, wow, this is maintained. I can go run this thing until the wheels fall off. That's what I want somebody to do. And I think there's another surprise in store for this giveaway that hasn't been announced yet. So keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, and you'll see it. Thank you very, very much, everybody, for watching, whether you are watching live or you're watching in the future, and you have a wonderful night. We will see you on the next episode, number 2. Later.